Okay, gang, here we are. This is phase 3 of doing an organic garden, and this is the phase that involves plowing up the garden or the truck patch. And you can see the horse manure that I spread. I think I have about a half acre right here. The way you determine acreage just by sight, most of you would know how big a football field is. You know, it's 100 yards long, 50 yards wide, I believe. That would be 1 acre. So we have what would be probably comparable to a half a football field right here, and that's what we're going to be doing. Now, the way I'm plowing this, last year I plowed it, I started on the outer edges and went around, plowed, and then when I kept going around, I got to the center. What happens is you have kind of what they call a middle furrow in the middle of your section that you're plowing, which is kind of like a small dip or a small ditch, which you usually try to disc out when you're disking your field, but it doesn't always work out real well, depending on how heavy and big your disc is. So the following year, what you want to do is you want to back it in, and that's what I'm doing right here. I'm starting in the center of the field. I'm using my little Ford 3000 to do this. This is my dad's tractor, Stan Schuyler. This is old Stan. He bought this tractor back in '77, I believe. And when I make my first million on the internet, I'm going to have this restored to its original, make it look like a brand new tractor. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to start in the center, plow around, and then this furrow that you see right here will be on the outer edge, on both edges. But we'll disc that out. That should be all right, and that should level the field out. Level it out a little more so you don't have that dip in the middle. So anyway, here we go. This is kind of tricky with all you people watching. I have to try to determine what I think is the center of the field. All right, there it is. Okay. My dad is the person that taught me how to plow. He's probably watching right now to make sure I do this right. What I should have done is scour my plows first before I use them. I might do that when I get down here to the edge, because it looks like they're not scoured very well. And I'll show you what I mean. They're scouring up pretty good. You see how they're starting to get shiny? That's because the ground's fairly dry, so it's scouring. That reminds me of a story. There was someone talking about Abraham Lincoln back in the fall of 1863 when he went to Gettysburg to deliver what was known as the Gettysburg Address. The fellow before him, and I can't think of his name, he was a very famous orator at that time, had delivered a 2-hour speech. And then Lincoln followed him and delivered what was about a 2.5-minute speech. which later became known as the Gettysburg Address. And when Lincoln finished the speech, he walked over to one of his aides, and there was just a spattering of applause, not too much. And he walked over to his aide and he said, "You know what, I don't think that's scoured." In other words, he said, "I don't think the speech scoured," which means this is what you mean when you scour a plow, you get all the rust off. Well, he didn't think his speech scoured. So anyway, that little bit of trivia. All right, I'm going to start plowing this thing up. I'll see you later.